welcome to my channel. This is my first video and it's really scary. I've wanted to do this for a really long time, so I'm like very excited and very nervous to be here with you and make this like dream project come to life. So I'm a writer, I'm a student, I write for the Substack MilkFed. That's my little corner of the internet, and I really love books and I love reading. I read mostly classics and philosophy and Gothic literature, but I thought I would take this space to kind of let you guys know what to expect in all of my other videos. I'm like really nervous, can you tell? Okay, I'm gonna try and like calm down. Okay, so things to expect, lots of book recommendations. I would love to discuss and yap about different like philosophical topics because I really enjoy philosophy. Since I'm a student, I would love to film some like study with me videos, writing, journaling, things like that, and have like comforting daily routine type clips kind of sprinkled throughout each of my videos. I also really enjoy talking about fragrances, which is kind of random. So, I'll briefly mention those and just things that I'm loving during the month. I want you to think of this as a deeper extension of my Substack and my TikTok. So when I think about a good book or good literature in general, I think about the ability that it has to really interrogate something essential and almost existential about our existence. And I think, the best books unsettle us and shift our understanding or pose questions that we didn't know that we needed to ask ourselves. So, for example, Camus wrote that fiction is the lie through which we tell the truth. And in many ways, these books aren't just stories. I feel like they're arguments and reflections and provocations about what it means to live and be human and to love and to make sense of a very uncertain, ambiguous world. And I think that's why I gravitate so much toward philosophy and classic literature, because it really is an immersive experience. I think that with classic literature especially, it just leaves a very profound impact on my life and how I can be a better human. And so with that said, I want to share my favorite books of 2024 in hopes that you can immerse yourself into something that could potentially change your life the same way that it did for me. I made a TikTok about this, but this feels like an evergreen video that I really want to live on my YouTube universe, for you to reference if you're ever looking for a great book to read. So I'm starting off with Either Or by Soren Kierkegaard, and in this book he wrestles with the dual paths of life, the aesthetic, which chases the beauty and fleeting pleasures, and the ethical, which is rooted in responsibility and deeper purpose. Through this series of pseudonymous writings, he invites us to confront the tension between indulgence and meaning. And it's less a resolution and more of an intimate philosophical argument that really forces us to question why we live and how we can live a better, more full existence. Another Kierkegaard book, Fear and Trembling, uses the biblical story of Abraham and Isaac, and Kierkegaard delves into the paradox of faith and portrays it as both terrifying and transformative. So faith, he argues, isn't a matter of certainty, but a leap into the unknown, a surrender into the absurd. At its heart, I think it's a book that really challenges the reader to reconcile the divine and the deeply human, and to confront the sacrifices that we believe and that I think the universe demands from us as, we coexist together on this earth. I fell head over heels in love with Kierkegaard after Fear and Trembling. I read his book on anxiety. I also want to read The Seducer's Diary. But I I just went on a Kierkegaard bender last year, but these two I felt had the most profound impact of the books that I read of his. The Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa is a hauntingly poetic meditation on loneliness and alienation and the quiet futility of existence. This is very much a fragmented journal, stream of consciousness type of book. It really just feels like stepping into the mind of a restless dreamer, and it's achingly beautiful. And it weaves different reflections on the mundane and the profound into a tapestry of introspection. So if you're into stream of consciousness type of books, I think that you'll really like this one. The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. This was her debut novel that really highlights the psychological damages that are inflicted by societal beauty standards and systemic racism. Through this story, the main protagonist of the book is a young Black girl who prays for blue eyes, and Morrison examines the violence of self-hatred and the generational scars that are left by prejudice. Her writing and her prose are both lyrical and devastating, and it leaves such a lasting impression once you finish the story. I am wanting to read Jazz this year by Toni Morrison. I read Sula last year as well, and I loved that, but this is the one that left such a profound impact on my life. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier is a Gothic masterpiece. This whole story plunges the reader into a world of mystery and obsession and betrayal. The unnamed protagonist's life at Manderley is overshadowed by this ghostly presence of her husband's late wife, Rebecca. Her prose are hypnotic, and they draw the reader into the most chilling exploration of identity and jealousy and the power of memory. I love this book. Do not wait until October or fall to read it. Read it now. It's winter, it's perfect, and it's delicious, and it's atmospheric, and you will love this. A Breath of Life by Clarice Lispector is a novel that unfolds as a dialogue between a writer and their creation. It blurs the lines between the author and the character, and I feel like Clarice Lispector's writing is bold and poetic, and it has this sense of urgency that feels like you're witnessing a mind that is unraveling and reshaping itself in real time. I fell head over heels in love with Clarice Lispector, and I feel like her writing makes me feel so seen and understood, and it almost feels like the way that she writes, like she's creating her own language and her own stream of consciousness that's like it imprints itself on you in such a very strange and profound way. But I highly recommend any of her books, this one especially. Henry and June by Anais Nin draws from Nin's diaries, and this book is so sensuous and it's very introspective as well, and it accounts for her affair with Henry Miller and her fascination with his wife June. This book is so intimate, and it explores desire and creativity and the complexities of love in her life. And her prose are so intoxicating, and she does such a wonderful job of capturing the messy, vulnerable depths of human connection. I'm obsessed with Anais Nin, and if you're new to any of her books, I recommend starting with Henry and June. Okay, the last one that I'm going to share with you is The Ethics of Ambiguity by Simone de Beauvoir. And this book explores freedom and responsibility and how it is so intellectual as it is personal. She argues that life's uncertainties require us to act with courage and intentionality. She encourages us to embrace ambiguity rather than fleeing from it. And it's such a great philosophical guide to navigating the complexities of our existence, but also just stressing the importance of remaining deeply human in the process of our existence as we battle the ambiguities of life. Last year was such a good reading year for me, and I'm really excited to approach reading a little bit differently this year. I have several books on my TBR for January, but I tried really hard not to overwhelm myself because I'm really trying to take my time with books this year. I think, in the past, I tend to just plow through books, and that's not a good thing because I don't take my time to get to know my books more intimately. I want to be able to annotate and analyze and, yeah, just get to know my books closer. I think that there's so much more that you can gain from literature when you just slow down and take your time and appreciate what the author is actually trying to tell you. You learn so much more about yourself and all of that. So I'm trying not to overwhelm myself with these massive TBR lists. Two of the books on my January TBR that I am fully immersed in right now is The Idiot by Dostoevsky and Agua Viva by Clarice Lispector. I read this one, it's very short, in like an hour. It was so good. This might be one of my favorite Clarice Lispector books that I've ever read. And I have so many thoughts. I'm going to share them with you in another video. And I'm really loving this one. Although The Brothers Karamazov is my favorite book of all time, that taught me more about life and what it means to be human more than any book that I've ever read. But this one is good too. It's just kind of hard to top The Brothers K, especially because this is so big and hefty and long. But either way, I'll share my thoughts with you when I'm finished reading it. I am also reading Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. So I have two big project books that I'm currently working on. And I'm just kind of reading small books intermittently because I'm very much a mood reader. So I have to be in the right mood to read The Idiot. And same with like Clarice Lispector or Anna Karenina, which I'm really loving Anna Karenina so much. And it's surprising me how much I like this book. Like, this is another massive book right here. I don't know why. Like, why do I do this to myself? There's no way I'm going to finish this by the end of January. But I am like very shocked at how much I'm liking this. So much more than I did War and Peace. Like exponentially more. But I'm just trying to take my time with these. And just kind of integrating smaller books in between to keep myself entertained in other ways when I'm not in the mood to just like dive super deep into these two. Yeah, from a book standpoint, I think that's what I'm going to share for today or for this week's video. This was really intimidating for me to do, and I don't know why. I think it's just because I've wanted to do this for so long, and I'm always scared that I'm going to like say the wrong thing or not provide value in a way that I know I can, if that makes sense. And I'm going to get more comfortable as we get to know each other. But I'm just going to keep this first video short and sweet. My goal is to like post a video every week on Sundays. That way you have something just relaxing to unwind to every weekend. And if you're watching this, I love you and thank you for being here. And I'm really, really excited to do this and share like more of my life and more about books and things that I love and things that I think you might like too.